Hi, hello, welcome to Tea Time with TRA Tocklai. In this episode, I have invited Dr. Piyu Das to come and talk about analytical facilities that we have in our campus. Welcome, Dr. Piyu.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Piyu, can you please enlighten us with the credentials that the laboratory has?
Yes, sir, I can. The laboratory was started in the year 2004, and then it got its first NABL accreditation with scope of soil testing in 2009. Then the scope was enhanced to include fertilizer testing, and then we started doing Conformance testing as well. We have an NABL accreditation. Along with that, the laboratory is notified by the FSSAI and the Tea Board of India, as well as it has got notified by CIB and RC as well. We are running different national and international projects, including the MPRNL.
That's great. So, when I look at the credentials, you have everything what is needed for an analytical laboratory. At this point of time, I would really like to thank Dr. A.K. Barua, who was instrumental in making this laboratory, giving a shape, structure, and equipment to this laboratory in coordination with the state government of Assam, those times, under the project of small growers.
Yes.
This laboratory was established. In this episode, I would like to talk about why planters should test their agro inputs. In that sense, my first question will be, are you getting enough agrochemical samples for analysis?
Sir, actually, the amount of fertilizers and pesticides that go into testing, I think, is comparatively less in with respect to the amount that is being used in the gardens. It is. I understand that it is not possible to test for every batch, although some random testings are very much essential, because recently also we have got samples where the active ingredient concentration has been much less compared to what it should have been, and in few of them there has been no peaks found. That means hardly any chemical was there. So in that case it is very important that because sometimes planters or the managers, they go for inputs which are low in cost, like a compromise can be there in its quality, for which some batches, some random batches need to go into testing to ascertain that when they are applied in the field they would be of use.
Yeah, in
Because
fact, I
yeah,
started talking about
yeah,
this whenever I meet the planters in the planters forum, that they should test their agro inputs and then start sharing the reports, whether it is positive report or negative report, doesn't matter, but they should start sharing the report with the original supplier of the material so that the supplier knows that the company is testing the product, testing
yes,
the inputs. So that itself will give them an alarm that they will not play with quality
yes,
of the materials
yes,
that they are
yes,
supplying. On the other side, when they do not test and then spray, like you said, the molecular
yes,
level analysis sometimes proven to be wrong.
yes,
There is no desired active in that.
yes,
Under such conditions, the managers or the garden has only the satisfaction of applying on the field,
yes.
but then they will not get any result. That is quite understandable. That's very important because sometimes the applications are timed. They have to,
Yes,
say, for example, when they want to eradicate the weed, they have
yes,
to apply on the right time. So after application, after 15 days or after 1 week, you find that nothing is really happening,
yes,
then you lose 1 week of time.
yes,
So
absolutely.
those are all very critical points. So I also encourage them to test their agro inputs. Can I also ask you, do you have any special rates for members and non-members? Like,
So the rates are very low. compared to the analysis cost. Actually, in any private lab, if they want to get it tested for, then the rates are quite high. We go for government approved rates which are with the FSSAI, which has been given handed out to us by the FSSAI. So it is only 1000 plus 1200 actually for per molecule. And if you have to run a
The
full
molecule
scan,
of pesticides you were talking
yes,
about.
particular.
Okay.
But if a formulation has got two molecules, then definitely that will be double the cost. And the thing is, for a full scan, that is what we also recommend often doing it,
Yeah.
because there can be some chemicals which are present in them which is not which should not be present. Like for instance, a particular formulation might have even banned chemicals in it. So in that case, if you run a full scan or a full screening of all the compounds, then definitely those chemicals which are not supposed to be there, you get a picture or an idea of that as well. So in that case, you can be more careful, because we have received queries from gardens saying that they have not never used monocrotophos or acetamiprid or those chemicals, but it could have been from any of the formulations that they have used. Not here, I'm talking not only about the chemical formulations but also of the bio formulations which gardens are now using now. They are very much encouraged to use, because they don't get harmful residues of the compounds in their finished products. For that reason, they go on for using the bio products.
But at the same time,
Yes,
when they do not test it,
yes,
they don't know what they are applying.
yes, that is absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
There are
So
incidences that you have received
yes,
that the bioformulation has some chemical active
yes,
ingredient.
yes,
Yeah, those are all the
yeah,
alarming
alarming
stuff.
cases. Yes,
Yeah, the planters have to really
understand that.
understand that and then start testing it. Otherwise, you think you have applied a biofertilizer, but then
Yes,
actually it has chemical component, which may be already banned in EU or in India,
yes,
which is going to affect your exports or local market.
absolutely, that can happen.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why they get sometimes the banned chemicals in their
Probably
teas,
yes. Yeah.
yeah, in their teas, without even using it in their
No.
gardens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually they are using it. Unknowingly they are using
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Because sir, when we go for like this testing of the finished products or the tea, then we go down at 10 ppb level. So even if a very less amount of these compounds are present, they'll get detected. And another thing is that they have their half lives are quite large, quite long. So in that case, also that remains in the tea. So any amount of it will be detected. So there's no escape route.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that reason, it is recommended that you get at least, if you are using a new product or if you are changing the brand, at least at that time, it is better to get it tested. In that case, you get an idea like nothing wrong is going in my field.
Yeah. See, when they buy chemicals or biological stuff for that matter, they buy at least for 100 hectares or 50 hectares of application. So the quantum involved in one purchase is really big.
Yes.
So sometimes they used to
Okay.
complain about the analytical fee. That's what I'm trying to say, that it is not much when you compare to what you are spending on the original molecule itself. So they have to take it as a right opportunity to
Yes.
analyze their inputs before putting in the
Ultimately they
field.
will only get benefited,
Yeah.
because first you come to know like whether you are using any whether the dose in which it is being recommended that is being stuck
Yeah.
to, because if the active ingredient is much less, then you're not getting the recommended dose in which it should be applied to the field. In that case, you can build up resistance in the pests as well. So that point is there. Then whether any other harmful chemical is going on in your formulation, that is also there. So you get a true picture, a clear picture. You have more control over your spray, and that way the benefits will be there. So testing fee is it's very less in compared to the kind of benefits that is being derived
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
And one thing I'm not very sure whether we have connected right with our own planters. Like we created this laboratory only for testing samples from planters and tea community for that matter,
True.
including small growers. But have we communicated them in a right way? Because when the private laboratories are working, of course, I'm not talking about their skill set. When they are working, they will be working for a profit. But when it comes to TRA, our laboratories, in most of the cases, we don't look at the profit margin. We only look at it from the service point, how we can service our planters and our growers. That's how we do. Whether there is any disconnect here.
Sir, absolutely. I want to make sure. Like here, what I have come to know from private laboratories, means my friends working in private laboratories, is that what they're charging for the FSSAI scan is 12,000 plus the GST. That comes to more than 14,000 rupees. But here we charge only 9,000 plus the GST. So our rates are much less, and that is a government approved rate. So whatever FSSAI has put in, that rate only we are charging. We are not charging anything extra. The only thing that the private laboratories are doing is they have their salespersons who are approaching the gardens, getting the things from the garden door. Maybe that is where we are lacking, but other than that, our rates are at par. And also another thing I want to mention here is I personally look at the chromatograms, and then it's not anything which is being generated by the machine. So here the false positives or false negatives, the rate of that happening will be much less. But in private laboratories, because of the excessive sample loads, and there are absolutely, it's all machine generated. It's not like a scientist goes and sees the chromatograms of each sample. It's not possible for them. So it's like an auto generated thing that's happening. But here I personally go and check all the samples, how their chromatograms are looking like, whether there is a false chance of false negatives or positives in that case. So in that case, the results also, I should bet that there will be a difference, because our HOD, he has received calls from gardens saying that to look into the matters where they have got compounds tested, compounds detected which have never been sprayed. And also then when the sample was sent to us and we have done the testing, we have found that absolutely they are correct. Like that possibly should have been a false positive. So in that case, failed samples when they come to us also has got,
Is it something to do with the kind of what do you call it as skill set of the people when you are
absolutely, sir.
when you are working on a single
Yes,
matrix?
yes,
It is different than today you test tea,
yeah,
tomorrow you test chili powder, day after
yes,
tomorrow you test esculenters, I mean ladies' fingers, and
yes,
then you test another food material, ready to eat food material, things like that. So, but then this laboratory is confined only to tea
tea,
and then tea related products.
yes, absolutely
So the skill set is also the main
important, yeah.
advantage that we have when comparing with other private laboratories. That's why we probably call this as T Labs. Yeah, that's our brand name, T
Yes,
Labs. Yeah.
yes,
As
absolutely.
you rightly said, we will not be getting into making a sales representative and then placing it all over. But then this is a media we are trying to approach to the planters to make use of this laboratory, which is having enough skill set. If I have to convey this to the planters, then the best example is yourself and your HOD, Dr. Paul. No, you both were working in Australia.
Yes, sir.
We brought you directly here
Yes,
those
sir.
times because we found you fit for the purpose. I think the credit goes to Dr. A.K. Barua. So it goes without saying that the quality of the output is ensured from this laboratory. We need to talk about what kind of agrochemicals you are getting here for analysis. You already said it is very less,
It is less, yes.
but what kind of chemicals you are getting here?
So agrochemicals also would include fertilizers. So we have a scope for testing of both organic and synthetic fertilizers. So fertilizer samples also we are getting to test for their purity, because there are definitely many fertilizer samples which have been found where the declared amount of nitrogen, like supposing urea, the nitrogen content of urea is much less. Sometimes it isn't there as well. And then rock phosphate and all, like those compound fertilizers.
Yeah.
So there also the the potash status, the phosphorus status is much less. So those are fertilizer samples that we are getting, as well as other agro inputs like the formulations that we are getting. And also we are getting some bioformulations where we are testing whether it is contaminated with or doped with any chemical or not.
Yeah, this is one side. The other side is like even the copper oxychloride, which is a
Yes,
powder form,
yes,
unless if it has a particular suspensibility,
yes,
you cannot suspend it in the liquid. See, the copper oxychloride, to be effective on tea field, it has to have a particular amount of suspensibility. Then only it just suspends itself on the water. Then when you spray, the bioefficacy can be attained. But I don't think the planters here in Northeast particularly, not all of them I'm talking about, I don't think they are testing the suspensibility parameter. Copper oxychloride may have enough ingredient, enough active ingredient in it, but then the suspensibility fails, then it is as good as not, then it is waste spraying on the field because it will deposit at the bottom of your sprayer.
yes.
It will not go to the plant. Maybe when the sprayer is three-fourth empty, then it will start pumping into the tea plants. So whatever you have sprayed with the three-fourth of the sprayer,
It's a
that's
waste.
waste. So those parameters, I think they need to test it. I remember my old days with the other tea research institute. People used to test urea, MOP, the raw fertilizers, not the mixer I am talking about, the raw fertilizers. We know that urea is imported or locally manufactured and it comes from an authentic company. But still, then I have seen the planters testing it. Majority of the planters testing it. That's what I wanted to say. And then any agro formulation, for that matter, are always getting tested there. But I'm surprised to see the number of samples that is getting tested in this part of the world, in this part of the
Much
country,
lesser.
is much, much less. I wish they are testing somewhere else in a private laboratory. If that is the case, we can actually help them with our
Own
competency.
facilities, yes.
Yeah. So it is an open invitation to the planters to try to use this laboratory for better results. Some time back, we were talking about the purity of active ingredients in the sample. So, which one is getting spurious sample very often
Yeah.
among the formulations I'm asking?
Yeah, glyphosate is one such formulation where we have found that I have found 3 or 4 instances where there is no molecule present of glyphosate. Like, and the one it was sent to us for testing, and I was pretty amazed to find, because before I never found this kind of a result. But since this type of thing happened, I talked with the concerned garden as well, and I then found out that they had sprayed that formulation already, and there was no control. So then they had wanted to get it tested to find out what the really problem was, and then it was detected that the formulation does not have the glyphosate molecule in it. So that is the most spurious thing that I have found in recent
That's so
times.
alarming. So,
Yes.
the control is going to be zero, but then you have
Yes.
sprayed, utilized the manpower, utilized the chemicals,
Yes.
the budget, all
Yes,
gone.
all gone. That was what you were rightly saying, that before spraying, if they can have a few batches tested as well, then they will have an idea like, well, I'm going to spray this, so this is going to work or not.
Yeah.
Before buying in large amounts, also they can
Yeah.
get a
No, before
sense.
spraying is a right attitude actually.
Yes.
That's what I used to also recommend personally. When the planters are interested in testing their samples, how long we take to release the reports, particularly the formulation analysis?
For tea testing, it is within 3 or 4 days we are giving the report if it is
That's
only for
fantastic.
pesticides.
Yeah.
But if it is a full FSSAI parameter, then because tea quality parameters and heavy metals are also there, and tea quality parameter includes all manual work,
Yeah.
because one day you'll have to burn the sample, ashen it in a muffle furnace. That same day you cannot open the doors of the muffle furnace because it is at 565 degrees. So you need it to cool down to less than 100 degrees before opening, otherwise the fire clay inside the
Yes.
furnace, it cracks. So for that reason it's a pretty much manual job. So for that it takes the total time span, should be within a week. But with tea samples, we are giving it within only for pesticide within 3 days, and for formulation samples, it should maximum be a week's time before we can release the reports.
That's because when you don't want to mix it up with
Yes.
the formulation analysis with the residue analysis, so
Yes.
you wanted
Yes.
to handle them separately.
Separately.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. I think a week is okay. Before spraying, a week is okay. I think planters should have that kind of patience at least, I suppose. Dr. Pugh, one more question I always get from planters is that will there be reduction in the analytical fee if they send samples in bulk? Like instead of sending one sample, like 10 samples, 20 samples at a time of the same nature for the same kind of analysis, then do we consider them for any discount
Absolutely, sir. We can consider them for a discount. We can do a consideration of the rates if it is in bulk.
if it is in bulk?
Yes.
And the rates are already approved in the
The
council.
rates are already approved by the council and
Yeah.
approved by the director, so nothing much can be done. But if we receive, say, 20 samples from a particular planter or from a particular garden, and then we can work out with him. We can see what can be done.
Yeah, I'm coming back to the old question, like when you said 3 days to 7 days analytical time. The regulatory ones 3 days, and then the formulation and other things maximum of 7 days. When you
Yes.
say, what is the kind of manpower we have? I'm asking about both temporary and then also the permanent manpower. How many manpower we may be utilizing on day-to-day basis?
Okay, so like for pesticide testing, we have myself, I'm there, and with me there is one technical officer, senior technical officer, who is also engaged in report preparation. And other than that, we have the MPRNL fellows over here working, and the fellows of some private projects also. They are there, but soon their project is going to be over, so probably they are going to leave, but then we can have temporary manpower if you allow us to have. And for heavy metal analysis, we have a person, a technical senior technical officer, running the equipment, and then there is one temporary person who is doing the extraction part, and as well as he is also looking after the tea quality parameters, and the same technical officer looks after the tea quality parameters as well. So we have three permanent manpower over here, and three other temporary people working.
It's only six
Yes, at present.
at present.
Yes.
That's too low, actually, very thin. Because I have been heading laboratories, I have been also involved in creating laboratories from the scratch. But normally, when you do this quantum of work, like pesticide residue testing and then heavy metal testing, very sophisticated areas of testing, and then the other wet parameters, when you do all these work, then naturally it is actually manpower intensive, that I can
Very
say.
intensive, sir. Yes. Right. And sir, actually we have, it's not like simple extraction. The SOP, if you see, that has got 14 steps in it. So, and the work has to be done by a very skillful person, because using these type of sophisticated balance where you go to 3 decimal, 4 decimal places, and then you have to weigh exact amount of chemicals to be added, so that there is no problem in testing in the machines, because machines will test only after a proper extraction is done. So if the extraction part there is some problem in it, definitely erroneous results are going to come. And also there is a contamination, if like water stays in the sample or like that, the GC columns might
Yeah.
get impacted. Also, if the cleanup is not proper, then the LC column might have problem, the capillary might have problems, and they are like lakhs of rupees, their cost is quite high. So in that case, the extraction part must be very very proper. And also regarding the wet and like those tea quality parameters, there also you need a lot of skill actually to do that. So trained manpower is mandatory. We have to use trained manpower. For that reason, yes, and as you have rightly said, we are lesser on the side, and more people are going to go because their projects are going to finish. So then definitely I think the management and you yourself will look into that matter. So.
Many planters have seen these laboratories. Whenever they come to Calcutta, the head office, TRA office, they have seen the laboratory housed in Calcutta, which is comparatively smaller than what we have here. But facility wise, I think for pesticide residues and heavy metals, both are equipped equally. But many of them have not visited our laboratory, I mean your laboratory. And if they are interested in coming and visiting, how do you see
They are
that? Do you
very
permit?
welcome to come. Yes, definitely. We will be very happy to show them around. In that case, they will have more confidence. So that same thing has happened with Bagh Bakri. You know, they came here, and in first they were not. They didn't know about the laboratory, and when they came here, and I personally showed them around, they were so happy, and they got more confidence in our results, and they said that yes, we were doing an excellent job, and they appreciated our work, and they were very happy with the facilities over here. And after that, we received some samples from them as well.
That's great. I think with that information that we are welcoming planters
Yes.
anytime to visit us,
Yes.
and also we are welcoming planters to utilize the facilities what we
Absolutely.
have for analytical
Yes.
purpose. Let us end this episode, and in the future episodes we'll continue to talk about the laboratory's need. Thank you so much, Dr. Pugh, for coming to this show and then sharing your experience with us. I hope it is useful to the planters.
Thank you, sir. I'm really happy to be able to speak to the planters about these issues that we are having. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Thank you.
I take this opportunity to thank all the planters who have been encouraging our shows they watched so far. And many people have sent their comments by WhatsApp to me. And also in the WhatsApp groups, they are sharing their comments. Some people have commented on the YouTube platform itself, wherein we have given replies. All I want to say is stay tuned. We will come back to you in the next episode with an interesting topic. Thank you.